Hello, everybody, and this guy's not doing. Welcome to the spring series here on YouTube. I am excited today because we are going to talk about transitions. So, in this spring series, I've been talking a lot about inner child healing, triggers, wounds, inner teen, inner 20s healing. And so there have been different topics, and I'm actually loving this spring series because it is things that are currently popping up in my life, and I'm like, oh. Okay, let's talk about this. This is what I have been navigating, and I want to bring this forward to you because whatever I learn, whatever I do, and my healing and growth is why not share? Why not? Because maybe, who knows, like maybe if you're watching, you might get something out of it and you might get your own aha moment or your own realizations in for your life. And so the reason why I wanted to bring in the topic of transition because it is something that I've noticed that was highlighted for me over the weekend. And when I talk about transitions is when you are healing and growing, you are not the past version of you, but you are not yet stepped into the new version of you. You're somewhere in the middle. And the past version can be popping up through life through things happening in your life, external, internal. The past version can pop up like through triggers, through fears, through doubts. But in that transitional period, that past is not as powerful or as loud. Like the fears aren't as loud, the doubts aren't as loud, the second guessing isn't as loud. And also, it is a place where you are more aware of what's popping up. So you're more aware of your fears, you're more aware of your doubts, you're more aware of the triggers. And so the transitional place can really look like a place where they're still popping up and they may still a little bother you. Like they still cause that bitterness, the frustration, the anger. They could still cause like sadness, but you're aware and you are able to hold that space and look at it differently. And in these periods, it is very easy sometimes to really get caught up in repeating the pattern, really get caught up in doing the same thing that you used to do. But you are in this moment of transition when there are, so to speak, tests from the universe, or a universe is giving you things like, can you hold it? Can you navigate it? Can you handle the trigger? Can you handle the fear? Can you handle the doubt? Can you hold all that space? It's the universe kind of giving that to you for your own healing and growth so that you can actually move forward. Because imagine if you have a trigger for something and you realize it, you've worked on it, and then you never come across it again, ever again, and then that's it. And then it's like, if that was the case for healing, then I think everybody would would heal. Like if it was that easy, that, oh, like I want $1 million. Here you go, $1 million. I want a partnership. Like, oh, here you go. You got it. Anything you want, you got it. And the reason why I bring this up is because sometimes, yes, there's some things we want to have easily or a little bit more flowy, but then also it's like if every time we want something, we get it in a sense of like when it's just more of without the gratitude, without really stepping into that place of like feeling it, then it just ends up being like you don't take it as seriously. You don't hold it as much. Like you really want to tap into that gratitude space. You really want to, and I feel like that's why like you have the triggers. That's why you have the shadows and the light. That's why you have like the duality of life. Of sometimes life can be really tough, and then other times life is amazing. And if you didn't have the duality of like what is the flip side? Like you go through something rough, and then the flip side is that there's good things that come out of it. There's growth, there's healing, there's, external good things to come out of it. And then you learn to appreciate that. You learn to value that on a deeper level. Whereas if you just say, hey, I want this. And the universe like, yeah, here you go. Hey, I want this. Here you go. Hey, like, I don't want this to trigger anymore. Okay, it won't trigger you anymore. We won't show it to you. We won't put it in your reality. And you're like, woohoo, life is. And then, but there's no depth, there's no meaning to it. Like, I think that the shadows and the hard lessons and the triggers are beautiful in their own way because they're there to show us so much about life and ourselves and our relationships and the people around us. And so having the duality is really important. And when going back to the initial where I was going with this was those triggers, those patterns that you have, things that you are working on your healing, your growth, they're gonna pop in. The negative thoughts, the doubts, the fears are gonna pop in again. And so as you're working on it, they keep popping back up. Now, the feeling is going to get the trigger is not going to be as powerful. The repetitive patterns, you're going to look at them differently. And the transitional period is, can you hold it? Can you hold the space for your triggers? Are you aware of them? And that's when you know you're in that transitional period. And you've come out the other side, you'll know. Now, what that looks like, it really depends per person because there are going to be some fears that like according to human design is going to be something that you're going to be holding. And so maybe when you get to the other side, it may not cause the anxiety as much as it once did, but you notice, oh, you're there. Okay, how can I work with you? And you learn how to work with those fears. And so sometimes getting on the other side doesn't mean that the fears, the doubts, or the triggers fully go away. But what it does mean is that you look at it differently, you hold it differently, like it comes up, you see it. And like, what would that look like? Okay. So one of my fears, according to with human design, is of the past repeating itself. And what that is that I'm able to spot repetitive patterns. And I can see the repetitive patterns start before it even gets to the end. And it takes me a minute to, once I realize it's a repetitive pattern, like it needs to happen two, three times to be like, oh, I'm in a loop. This is a repetitive pattern. Okay, there's something I need to look at that I haven't. And what would happen, how I feel like now I've gone to the other side of it is that as I just explained it, I'm looking at it from a place of a lens of a curiosity of like, oh, it's happening again. Instead of like, oh my God, what do I need to do to not make this happen? And that's what I used to do. I used to try to stop the pattern from happening, try to do something different. And so coming out of the other side, that's what that kind of looks like. It's like, oh, how can I work with this? Wait, it's happening again. I'm going to allow it to happen if it's meant to happen. But the fact that it's popping up, it's because there's something here to show me. And sometimes I might get that little like, ooh, like feeling of like, oh no, I don't like this. I don't like the patterns happening again. I don't want to happen again, but okay, let's work through it. Let's navigate this. And so that's kind of what it feels like being on the other side. Um, Whereas as and then another example, this one is just like more of a recent one, is I'm looking to raise my prices. And I've decided, made the decision. I'm like, okay, the next, one-to-one client that's going to reach out to me and ask me about my packages and services, like I'm going to this price. Like I'm going to put this price in. It's time. It's time because I crave more space because I can show up better, like better for you, better for me when I have more space. And to create more space, raise my prices so that I can remove the things that are currently providing me financial finances basically to support my cost of living. And I want to remove those so I could create more space And so this is kind of like the reason why. And what happened is I had someone who was interested in my one-to-one. And before, like we haven't even spoken about pricing, not even at all, but just for the fact that they were interested, I went quickly right into my head in 24 hours. I overthought the whole thing, basically knocked down the price in my head because I was like, oh, like would they actually, be willing to pay this much? Like, I don't know. Like, okay, well, I said I was going to raise my prices, but maybe, we'll just go down $20. And then by the end, I had reduced it basically to $10 more what I currently have. So I went from literally like saying like, oh yeah, I'll just try to meet myself halfway. And then I talked myself fully out of it to the point that I'm like, I lowered myself down all the way to basically what I'm charging now in 24 hours. And that's when I knew coming out of it now, I was like, I was foggy too. And in that moment, that's when you're foggy. You can't see it clearly, can't see clearly the situation. You're too busy in your head trying to overanalyze, overthink it all. And then I kind of like allowed those thoughts to be there. And then the next day, when I feel like I kind of processed it, I was like, oh, that was something else. Like I recognized it. I was like, oh, that was something. Like, why did I like if I want to raise my prices to create more space for myself so I can show up fully for you and for my clients and to be there. And it's like, why am I talking myself out of it? Like, do I really want to continue down the path where I'm overworked and tired and not being able to hold capacity for my clients and for myself and for my life and my own well-being, my relationship and everything? And And so that's when I realized I'm like, oh, I'm in this transitional phase. I'm in the transitional phase. So I'm not necessarily the new Julie who can own and anchor in. Like I'm getting there, but I'm not just there yet, who can anchor in that price and hold that belief. But I'm not the Julie who is gonna lower it just to get a client. Because that's just a form of like just wanting validation. And so it's very interesting when you're in the transitional period, especially when you're doing this healing and growth, and you'll see that you're more aware of your thoughts, you're more aware of your fears and your doubts. And it's not a bad place to be. And whatever fears and doubts resurface, whatever triggers happen again, and even if you react the same way, but then you realize it 24 hours later, like I did, then that's you're in that transitional place. Like that's what it is. It is. It's like you're gonna get a trigger, you're gonna react the same way, but then 24 hours later, you're gonna be like, oh, and then the next time the trigger happens, you might be able to tap into, oh, the trigger's happening again. I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing it now in the moment. It's not so foggy. Okay, now we got it. And then it's gonna happen again. You're like, oh, and then further down the road, you'd be like, oh, that trigger that once upon a time bothered me so much, or that normally I would be so triggered by that, not so bad anymore. Maybe it might be a little tingling, like oh, this little discomfort, but might not be so bad. And so that's beauty. And the transitional place can sometimes be couple months, sometimes a couple weeks, sometimes it's a couple years. And honestly, it's your journey and everybody's on their own journey. So there is no, like, what is time, right? Like, there is no concrete time as to when this is all gonna unfold. And so that is all about today's episode. So I know I kind of went a little bit all over the place, but there is one thing I would love to chat with you today. I kind of had dropped it in the last episode, but I really wanted to go a little bit more specific. If you are someone who you've done a lot of inner work, you know all about self-healing, self-development, but you are either at a place where you are seeking more clarity and direction, and this can be in your life, in your career. It could be maybe you are seeking support in your relationships with your partner, your relationship with your kids, and you've done the inner work, but you know there's something more to unravel. And you've listened to my videos so far all about inner child healing and triggers and shadow work, and you're like, this is the conversations you seek to have, and this is the type of work you seek to work on and really dive deep, and you want that someone else there for you to hold that space, ask the questions, and basically like be there. Let me know. I am opening up right now. I'm opening up to two more clients. So this is kind of where I'm at. I currently have one client and then I'm adding two more. And this is a current capacity that I have. And I am really excited to open up the space. So I'm putting it out in the universe. Our sessions are basically anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. And I, we work with whatever goal or whatever intention you have in mind going into this. But then additionally, I my sessions are very intuitive. And so I really go in like week by week, like whatever, wherever you're at, I meet you. I meet you to where you're at. And so if you had a hard week, if something popped up, if something triggered you that week, like then we tap it in, we dive into it because being in the moment of a trigger, in the moment of it is so key. Like instead of oh, like list all the like I all the triggers you've had around, like building your own business and let's go tackle each one at a time. Like, no, that's just that's just too much. And so it is it is very much in the moment support, in the moment, guiding you to understanding you a little deeper so that so that you can work through the repetitive patterns and so that those can actually end and complete the cycles to complete so that you can heal old wounds. Like you can really work on your fears, your doubts, your triggers, like all of that. So wherever you are in your life, if you are someone you value the inner work, you already done it, so you know how valuable it is. You know how good it is, like how you're ready to go deep. If you've like touched a little bit and you want to go deeper, then all my details are in the voice notes. So check out the voice notes. You can go on my website, juliesunknown.com. You can find me on Instagram as well, Julie's Unknown. Feel free to send me a DM for more details. Or just like put a comment and then like I can just like let you know where to go find me. Whatever works for you. I'm just putting it out, and if this is where you are at and you are seeking the support and you want to have deep conversations and you want to dive deep into your life, into where you're at and get more clarity to where you're going, let me know. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.